Thank you. Everyone, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon in South Africa and elsewhere in Africa. I think when I first came up upon the opportunity that Femi was expressing, I was really heartened because Professor Jacobs and I have been for a number of years been talking about the Nigerian educational system, how to improve the youth employability, and so on. But can I just say, when our chief presenter was talking, I came across an idea that I said about 30, I shouldn't say it, but 38 years ago in one of my classes. I was looking at a group of Africans and I said, you're here in the UK, it was in Scotland, you're here in the UK, and many of the British people think you're irrelevant. And I said, by default, one day they will come seek in Africa. How prophetic. I thought to myself, I should have been a prophet like Daniel. Because what I was talking about then is that one day the youths of Africa will rise just by statistics, demographics, and whatever. And whether the West likes it or not, they will have to look to Africa to source many of the innovations, many of the ideas. What can I say? I think I also like one of the expressions that John F. Kennedy gave. Think not of what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And I think this empowerment system that Femi is talking about is what the youth need today. Less talk, less reliance on government projects and so on and so forth, and more reliance on ourselves, on empowerment, on altruism, true altruism, social justice, and all those things that will make society a better place. What can I say? As a teacher myself, I learned a lot through mentoring. I learned when I was supervising PhDs that there's two ways of supervising a PhD. You can either dictate, which would result in a failure, or you can mentor, nurture, and get the best out of the candidate. And so I always went for the second method. So I've learned a lot about mentoring. By the way, mentoring also facilitates thinking in the person that is acting as a mentor. But again, the remit I got today is on employability. And the notes I have here was saying how relevant are our skills. And our chief speaker has already identified 3 questions I think that everyone should really identify. But I think in Nigeria particularly, we still have a curriculum that is really outmoded, outdated, and totally irrelevant in the 21st century. Professor Jacobs and I have said this time and again, and we've created a lot of enemies. I don't mind those enemies any day because I really enjoy it, is that we need to empower our youths with skills that the rest of the world need. And a program like mentoring for outsourcing activities and skills is what the world is heading for. And can I say, I'm a marketeer by background, and we don't say problems, we say solutions to problems. The corona, in a way, God forbid, and I hope it disappears, has created an environment where things that would have taken 10, 12 years to materialize or to crystallize, Professor, my word, crystallize, are now coming to the fore. Because what's happening now is that the things that many of the Western countries were not thinking of is possible today. And the digital age is making it easier and easier. I was listening to CNN News this morning, and always you must look at the news and read. And they were talking about an African platform. There's a cable, I don't know the technological things that are going through, but there's a cable now being connected through West Africa and will go to the rest of Africa from Europe, which will mean that in a few years' time, 3 or 4 years down the road, digitization and internet facilities and so on would be far better placed than they are at the moment. Believe it or not, even as I'm speaking to you, I've had 3 failures in the technology, and I've had to go to backups to ensure that I can actually talk to you today. So I'm delighted to be part of the mentoring system. I think we need to empower our youths. The youths are our future. I speak for myself and Professor Jacobs, our generation has done something, but now we need to empower. And I like what you said, Chief Speaker, in that mentoring is a possibility of getting help yourself at a later date. I like that. It's altruism at its best. You give not because you expect it, but you give because one day down the ladder, as you're coming down, someone will remember you and say, this guy helped me through the journey. So to all the possible mentees across Africa, there will be no jobs. The jobs we have to create ourselves. And the creation of those jobs is going to come mainly from outsourcing. I would have given a long lecture as a marketeer on why outsourcing has been made possible and so on, but suffice it to say, our chief speaker and Professor Jacobs have highlighted that we should do less talking and go out there and look for systems. But can I just conclude by saying something? Mentoring is not about dictation. It is about nurturing so that the skills, the talents that the average mentee has will actually be crystallized into a force that an outsider who wants to outsource will see and say, yes. It's not just in terms of competitive advantage in terms of costs, but in terms of the offering that you're making. We need to make sure that in a few years down the road, the outsourced material to Africans is superior to the best. And the Indians have proven that with call centers to the UK and to the United States. They made sure that all the employees had the right skills. In fact, the minimum grade was actually to be a graduate. So in conclusion, I would say, yes, this is a possible area where we should really be heading. Less dependence on government and more dependence on ourselves so that we can do good for the society. Thank you very much.